logo. I'm a designer, by the way.
Thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. We're live, guys. Welcome to Tamika. Sorry. You start. Oh, God. Hello, guys. Welcome to Urban Renal Talk with Tamika.
Tamika and Steve. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in tonight. What's going on, Tamika?
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Anything new in the dialysis world?
Um, did you see the poll that I did on our page? I put a poll up on our page. It
Yes.
said, basically, do dialysis corporations bear a social responsibility and promoting and advertising diabetes and hypertension, kidney disease awareness, and urban communities at high risk for the disease. So it got 2 more days for the poll, but so far we had 63 people that voted. 71% said yeah, and
All
29%
right.
said no, that they
Mm.
don't hold, a responsibility and, putting awareness in the communities affected by these diseases.
Wow. Well,
Mm.
let's ask our special guest, Mr. Tay Veasey, on what do he think about this poll.
I mean, it's definitely important for sure.
You got to introduce them, Tamika.
I
Introduce
am,
me.
but I didn't want to not ask him the question.
All right.
So, our special guest tonight is Artavius VC. Artavius VC. Say
Hello,
Welcome,
hi.
hello,
welcome.
hello.
You want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, hello, everyone. I am Artavius Veasey, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. Um, 28 years old. I know I don't look like it, but I am. Um, I'm a 13-year post-transplant patient, well, recipient, and I'm here to share my story and inspire the next generation of kidney patients to believe in themselves, trust in the journey, and of course, enjoy every moment of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Artavius, how does your story start? Because it's a very unique story and very inspiring.
Yeah, well, and I like to say it all started in the beginning. Well, when I was a premature son, and going on, I was diagnosed with kidney disease at the age of 3. So it was hereditary from my mom. So what she told me was I was leaking protein,
Okay.
and so I'm sure you guys would know more of what that means. But so what happened? The doctors were able to suppress the process, and it led up until I was at the age of 13 when my kidneys officially failed, and I had to go on dialysis. Then I went on dialysis at 13, 2003. No, 2004. It was a month before I turned 14, and I was on dialysis till July 15th, 2005. No, I
Mm.
said 2014, 2004. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Right. And I had the transplant July 15th, 2005. So I was on about a year and a half. And I say just a year and a half because I've witnessed a lot of people who's been on the machine years. When I say years, like 10, 20 plus years. So just a year and 6 months for me, I'll take it. But I definitely call myself one of the blessed ones, and of course one of the lucky ones, because a lot of people don't get this opportunity. And I definitely want to encourage those who haven't gotten that opportunity of transplantation, or who may not get that opportunity, to not give up, do not lose hope, and of course stay encouraged and keep a good support circle close by. Because I know for me, going into dialysis at the age of 13 was a bit much. And transitioning to high school and everything, it was just a lot. So I'm just here to encourage and share my story to as many people as I can and inspire as many people as I can to just trust in the journey and stay prayed up and stay hopeful, and your day will come.
Okay, now Octavius, your experience is a little bit different, I guess, when you first started at 13 than the average patient. Meaning, you went to a children's hospital, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you was with other patients your age,
Hmm.
and so you didn't get a chance to really experience the older population.
No.
Um, how important was it to go to that children's hospital opposed to a regular dialysis unit?
Now I've been to an adult dialysis unit in a local hospital here. And I'm very grateful for the children's hospital, which you guys probably know Le Bonheur. Everybody knows Le Bonheur. But I was one of the patients at Le Bonheur. And the atmosphere that Le Bonheur gives for children keeps it stress free, and keeps it playful to an extent where as a teenager, I didn't really, to me, it was stressful. But now looking back on it 13 years later and going into the adult ones, it's not as stressful. It's like, I remember in the house, we used to play games and we used to interact with the other patients and stuff like that. And not saying they don't do that in the adult units, but I do see there is more of a big open space and everybody, of course, conversate with one another. But I feel it wasn't as fun as it was for me back in the children's hospital.
Wow, wow. Um, with children or the pediatric patients, did they experience cramps as well as
Oh
nausea?
yeah.
Did
Oh
you?
yes. And for me, oh yes. And one of the big things for me that I always tell people is I had mood swings out of this world. Because they had me on prednisone. And a lot of people don't know, and well, this is what happened to me. Prednisone was one of those pills that had me feeling like I was crazy. Like I would never sit like by a doorway because I always felt like somebody was running by it. And I was like, what in the world? And it made me feel like I was crazy. But for me, cramps, um, stomach pains, nausea, like all of that stuff was like happened within that 3 hour period of treatment. And you can hear like, well, in the children's hospital, you hear a lot of crying, point blank. And in the unit, when I first got there, it was very traumatic. And I was like, what is going on? I've never seen a dialysis machine before. So it was like, I don't know how I explain it, but I felt like I was in hell's playground. And that's how I describe it in my book. And the reason I call it that is because I felt like at that time, not having any understanding of what the kidney machine was or the purpose of it. From on the outside looking in, it looked like this machine was taking the blood from a person's body. And of course, that's what it's doing, but it's also putting it back. It's cleaning the blood and putting it back into the person's body. But it was definitely a traumatic experience. But I'm blessed to be able to say that I went through that. It was my lifeline for that year and a half. And I'm happy that I've gotten through it and now I can share my story to help others who are still going through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So with the protein, because my son has nephrotic syndrome, the protein pulling out his kidneys and his bloodstreams.
Mhm.
Did you have the same thing? Was that what you had,
Yes,
nephrotic syndrome?
that's what I had at 3. Yeah. Mhm.
My son, he had it at 18 months.
Oh, wow.
You kind of catch home with me.
Right. So how was that experience for you?
Uh, it was difficult because I was working in dialysis.
Right. Hmm.
And to be working in dialysis and to find out that your child has kidney failure was,
Definitely hit
I
home, huh?
couldn't explain it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I can
I
imagine.
couldn't explain it. me walking in that unit, in the pediatric unit, it was hard. It was really
Yeah.
hard because I had to go back to work. So I had to go from one extreme to the next and then
Yeah.
back to another extreme. So it
Yeah.
was very, very difficult.
Yeah. Because I remember looking when I was going into the unit at Labana, seeing it's like I've seen a lot of like infants, and it was quite a few like little kids, like that was younger than 5 there when I was there, and to just see them go through that and the different incisions and locations of the lines that was either in your chest, your arm, your stomach, the different types of dialysis, and it was just for me, like just to imagine now at 28, thinking if I was a parent and to witness that for my child it would just be too much for me. I don't think I would be able to handle it. So my hat goes off to you for
Right.
being able to handle that.
Tay,
Thank you.
are you currently still taking anti-rejection medication?
Yes. Yes. I'm on self-step and Prograf as my anti-rejection. Of course, I take my lisinopril, which is my blood pressure pill, and I take a vitamin D, and that's it.
Have you had any uh, problems with the cell ceph?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
The only things I've had issues with is maybe it's like with my levels, and I had to kind of play around with the dosage of the Prograf, whether it's going back a half a dose or adding a half a dose, and kind of going back with that. But other than that, I haven't had any complications with the medication.
Uh-huh. Hey, Tay, take us back to the day you received the call as a 14-year-old, 13-year-old child that you got a transplant. Explain how that all went down.
Okay, so at that time I was, whew, taking it back. I was 15, and it was like I was at probably the week before, and I was doing like one of my last treatments, and my doctor came and told me, she said, "Well, we got something to tell you," and I was like, "What you got to tell me?" And she was like, "Well, we did test on your dad, and he came back positive, so he will be your donor." I can't even explain how thankful I was for that process, because it was a stressful time for me, because at that time in my life I didn't really understand kidney disease. The only thing that registered to me as a teenager was I had a disease, and that was just something that just wasn't cool. So being able to educate myself and get the transplant, it was like, okay, now I'm ready to take the world. But that day was definitely, of course, a lot of crying, and of course, a lot of praying and thanking God and all of that. But I'm very, very happy and proud and thankful for my dad for being my living donor.
Awesome. So I have a question. I see you're on blood pressure meds. Did you always have blood pressure issues? Or it
Yes,
came
blood
after the
pressure.
transplant?
Yeah. I've always had blood pressure issues. High blood pressure runs in my family, which, as we know, it runs a lot in the African American community,
Mhm.
along with diabetes as well. That is a big case for kidney disease and kidney failure. So, yeah, high blood pressure has always been in my family. And just when I got on dialysis, they put me on a medication for it.
Oh, okay.
How's your dad doing?
He's good. I just was over his house yesterday. He done got him a good old little RV, trying to hook up surround sound all throughout the thing. I was like, Dad, come on now.
Right. But has he had any issue with kidney disease? Does he get checked?
Yes, he
Uh,
definitely go get checked. The only thing that he had problems with, he is like a lump in his side, and he not occasionally, but in the beginning stages, probably within the first 2 years, he was having like side pain. But I would
Okay.
say probably a little bit after that, he's fine. And now we're at year 13. So I mean, he's
wow.
good.
No blood pressure issues, no diabetes, none of that.
Nothing. Still
Wow.
going.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Definitely a blessing.
Wow. So I see you're into the transplant games. What made you get into the transplant games? And kind of tell people what the transplant games are.
All right. So the Transplant Games of America is basically I call it the Olympics for transplanted patients. Now I partner with Miss South Transplant Foundation, which is a
Mhm.
foundation here. They sponsored me and a couple, and I think 9 other transplant patients, which were kidney and heart, and we all went to the Transplant Games of America this year. This year it was in Salt Lake City, Utah, and it was, oh my God, it was my second time going. It's bi-yearly, so every 2 years, and it hosts a different array of sports where it goes to track and field, it goes to swimming, it goes to golf, table tennis, darts, basketball, volleyball, badminton, a whole bunch of different stuff. But for me, my experience was amazing because I've always dreamed of being an athlete, especially a runner because I'm tall with long legs. So I always wanted to be a runner, but due to having kidney disease, it kept me from pursuing those athletic dreams as far as being a runner. Now, my mom, she was a runner in high school, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. So I was always in competition with my mama. But we have a great relationship. And with her, she's doing well. She had a kidney transplant as well. I think she's on year 17.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom had hers, I think 17 or 18 years now. So she's
Wow.
like been my coach to kind of show me what to do, what not to do, how to do it, and all of that stuff. And I can't thank both my parents for being there and to help me through this process. But with going back to the transplant games, it was definitely the first time in 2016. It was a great moment because I finally got to pursue my dreams of running track. And from the first time I got a bronze medal in the 400-meter race.
Mhm.
So I was thankful for that. I wanted my gold, but I couldn't get it on the first go round. So you know what, Lord, maybe next time.
Right now, right.
Right. So this year, we just came back about a month and so ago. I got my gold. So I did many different events. I did the softball toss. I did the high jump, not high jump, long jump, and I did bowling. I did darts. I did, of course, the track 4x100 with 3 other teammates, and yeah. So I got the gold in the long jump, which I have here. So
Okay.
you guys can
Wow.
see.
Medals.
So I have my gold here, and I got the silver in the 4x100, which you see here.
Oh wow.
So it's been, when I tell you, it's nothing like saying you are a gold medalist. So I'm gonna put these on for y'all because I just feel like rocking my medals, if that's okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. And it inspires people, that even with a quote unquote disability,
Yeah,
you can still have a goal and meet it. You
exactly.
know.
And the whole experience there at the Transplant Games of America is everyone who had many different transplants, whether it's kidney, whether it's lungs, whether it's heart, whether it's pancreas, um,
Mm.
and different tissues. All of us come together to support each other for being transplanted patients and
Right.
recipients, and to just spread awareness and spread love to other people and thank our donors for that second chance at life and just be appreciative. I mean, even though it is a big competition, At
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day or at the end of the games, it's just everybody coming together to spread love and just be thankful to get the opportunity to attend the Transplant Games of America.
So Tay, how is that financially set up? Meaning, if someone wanted to participate, they would have to pay their own accommodations to get there. Uh, did you have a fundraiser?
Mm-hmm.
How,
Now, with the Mid South Transplant Foundation, we had many fundraisers, and they sponsored us with the hoteling and the plane tickets, and basically the fundraisers stuff paid for everything else. So it was very little to none that us as the participants or as for those who want to participate, I would say find a branch in your state, and I'm sure it's a branch in every state that goes to the Transplant Games of America that you can contact. Well, I think their website is maybe just Google search Transplant Games of America. I'm sure
right.
something will come up for that. But that's basically how we did it with Mid South Transplant Foundation.
Okay.
Did you win any medals last year? I mean, the previous year.
Yes, I had won a bronze in the 400-meter race.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you leveled up.
Right. There you go. Leveled up, leveled up, leveled up. Yeah. But you know what was funny? And I told my team this. I was like, oh, I ain't told nobody this, but I told my team, I said, you know what's funny? I trained that whole year for the games the first time and I got a bronze. The second time I went, I didn't train at all and I got a gold and silver. I was like, okay, so let me find out I don't need to train. I'm just that good. But but it was definitely amazing and such uh I feel like it was a good moment for me to kind of just reflect and just be patient because I know one thing as far as when it comes to transplantation and being on dialysis is being patient because I mentioned in my book I said a prayer to God while I was on dialysis because at this time I my line had blue like I had two lines I was hemodialysis so I had it in my chest and my line on my left side blew, so they had to take it out and put it on the other side. So when I got that news, I was distraught because I was like, "Oh, I got to go through surgery again," and surgery is a whole nother story. But during that process, after my doctor left, I had a prayer, said a prayer with God, and let him know I was like, "Lord, if you don't do anything else, if you can get me through this, I promise you." I would do everything in my power to help somebody else and spread the word to inspire other people. And since then, and since my transplant, that's what I try to do as much as I can to keep my promise to him and to spread the word and to encourage people and to go sit at the dialysis unit with other patients who are going through, excuse me, who are going through dialysis to kind of encourage them. It's okay. You just got to be patient and stay uplifted. Listen to some uplifting music. I don't know what your spiritual beliefs may be, but whatever keeps you happy or whatever keeps you inspired, I highly suggest those people to do that because you was gonna need it. You
Right.
was gonna need it.
Right. So, being so young on dialysis, did you suffer from depression?
What? Yes. Yes. And I actually went through suicide twice
Mm.
during that process because, I mean, think back as a 13-year-old, you don't
Mhm.
want to be going through no stuff like that. And you just now getting ready to go to high school and you fresh into high school. And then you realize not only are you going to dialysis 3 days a week for 3 hours, you got to leave dialysis to go to school. So I have to deal with that medically. Then I have to deal with the school academically and try to keep up, try to remember the stuff and just function. And not to
Right.
mention, gotta stay with the cool kids and try to stay relevant in school, and just be one of the cool kids and show them that you can do all of this stuff. But it was definitely a struggle. Depression has definitely took a toll on my life, but I definitely tell people that it blessed my life, because without that, I won't be able to have the story to tell for you guys today. So
Right.
definitely thankful for the depression and for the suicide attempt, because those helped me become stronger and to be able to speak up and out to be a voice for the younger generation.
Right. Awesome.
Did your did your friends accept you, or did they know you were going to dialysis during that period of your?
At that time, I didn't tell them, because again, 13-year-old, they wouldn't understand that. If
Mhm.
they would have, like I said, for me at 13, out of the whole kidney disease thing, all I could think of is disease. And at that age, I knew my friends would not go for it, and they won't want to hang out with me no more. They'll think I was I'm doing home. Well, I did do homeschool, so for a semester I did homeschool, and they'll call and check in, and I just played it off like I was good and all of that stuff. But it was tough. I would say I think I deserve an Oscar for going through that and keeping them off my back and playing it off. So, but it was real good though.
Yeah. I don't think like you should have told them, only because kids are cruel. And
Yeah,
if they knew that that catheter was your lifeline, they would have tried to pull it. Kids are like very,
exactly, exactly.
because
It
not
was
knowing
very
the
sensitive.
consequence of it, but they would have did it just because they knew that's how you were alive.
Yeah, because I know I've heard some students talking about it when I go and mentor the young patients, and
Oh,
how they get bullied about it, and talked about having the catheter and the different lines and stuff, and they want to know what it is and play with the stuff, and it was just heartbreaking for me to
mhm.
witness and to hear. But that was one of the reasons why I didn't disclose with them at that time what I was going through, because I didn't even know what I was going through. So it was a lot for me to accept, let alone somebody else. So
Right, right. Do you think that a way to get information out about kidney disease, diabetes, hypertension, the things that you can prevent from getting on dialysis, you think it will work going to the children first?
I mean, I always think the younger the better. That's with anything, because if we catch them young as they grow up, they would be more prone to stop people that's talking down about it, whatever the topic is, and to educate other people, because the youth, they don't really know much. So depending on how young you're going, but a lot of them don't really know much. So if you can educate them early and tell them what it is and what it's about and how it's saving someone's life, I think they'll be more prone to respecting it and being more gentle when it comes to come across children or other people that may be going through dialysis, and maybe understanding their situations a lot better.
Right, right.
So let me ask you, what advice would you give someone that may be watching this broadcast right now, who may have a teenager going through kidney disease or on dialysis, or even someone that's adolescent or teenager that's going through it right now? What type of advice or suggestion could you give them on just managing the disease as a adolescent?
Okay, well, first I would tackle the parent who has a teenager. One thing that I can't stress enough is us as the patients. We need you. We
Mm.
need you to be patient with us. We need you to be gentle. Um. Oh. hopefully I don't get emotional, but we need you guys to really just understand and be there because we don't know what's going on with our bodies. We don't know what to feel. All we know is we have to go to this place to get our blood cleaned and it makes us feel horrible. So if the parent could just be there, whether it's holding their hand or just to be somebody, just to be there. I think that's the most important part is to be there and to be understanding. Because I know for me, my mother, she was there and she was able to coach me through. So I didn't get the chance to necessarily feel bad as much or be down on myself as much because she coached me through it, let me know, okay, you're gonna feel this, you're gonna experience this. But she said it's okay. You're gonna get through this. Just hang in there. Be right here. She gave me the Sprite. She got me the ice just to keep me going through stressful situations that a lot of dialysis patients go through. And I will also encourage to read something. Keep your mind off of it. Try to stay prone into educating yourself and to be knowledgeable about the topic to help your children. So that's
Right.
for the parents. Now for the teenagers or the children who are on dialysis, hang in there. it's it's tough. I know. Trust me, I know. Um, this is not the end of the world. It's gonna get tough before it gets easier. So just hang in there. The storm will pass. This has come to pass, not to stay. So just stay encouraged. Hang in there. Find you a support system, whether it's friends, aunties, uncles, cousins, sisters, family members, whoever, somebody who can hold you down and keep you lifted because you're gonna have some days where like I went through twice, you just want to throw in the towel because it's just too much. But trust me, on this side of it, it's so much better. Now I'm 13 years out of it, and I can't explain how much I appreciate life and appreciate a second chance at life to be able to share with you guys that I too was that patient who was in that reclining chair with my blanket because I'm anemic and hurting from cramps and just ready for this to be done. But just hang in there. Your time is coming. Just hang in there and stay prayed up. And that's what I would say about that.
One question I wanted to ask you that pertains to your medication.
Mhm.
Um, Medicare pays up to 36 months for post-transplant anti-rejection medication. Now, by you said how many years? 15,
13.
13 years. Was it hard for you to maintain paying for your medication after the Medicare, um, uh, ran out for
Well, for me, thankful that my insurance that I have pays a big amount of it. I don't. I pay little to nothing, honestly. But I'm one of the lucky cases that don't have a lot of prescriptions that I'm on. So I'm on probably about a total of about 5 prescriptions,
Oh wow.
and three of them are, well, no, two of them are anti-rejection. The others is just like a blood pressure and a blood pressure, my iron, and the vitamins. So, and that's mainly covered. So I'm probably no more than $20 out for my medication. Now, my mom, on the other hand, well, her she takes a whole bunch of meds. So it's like for her, she without her insurance, she'd be paying like $1,000,
Mm.
and which is outrageous.
Mm.
But it varies for each patient. I would definitely say look into your insurance and see what they cover because you need your meds,
Yes.
and it could get very expensive. Like my mom, $1,000. Woo! I don't know how I would have made that, but yeah, for me, I don't pay no more than about $20, even if it gets that high.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
So, quick question. Did your mom have a cadaver or a living donor?
She, I think it was a cadaver because the guy, he was in Portland and he had passed, and she got his kidney.
Okay. So yours is more compatible with you because it's from your dad. Hers
Right.
is a foreign, so her body, yeah.
Mhm.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was crazy because with me, I'm a small frame. So, and my dad, he's kind of a big guy. So I had this when I first got my kidney. I was a good about 90 pounds,
Mhm.
and it was a big bulge hanging out of my out of my side. And my dad used to always joke, "You got that grown man kidney in you." I was like, "Whatever," but it was definitely great. And with me and his with his kidney in my body, my creatinine was our match was a 0.9, so it was like almost perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Right.
Yeah, so I think now it's at like a 1.2.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Good.
So, okay,
mhm.
one question I wanted to ask you: have you seen an increase of younger patients coming on dialysis now, opposed to when you started back in what, the 90s?
No, it was early 2000s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Have
so it
you seen
was
an
like,
increase of a younger population now?
well, I when I go visit the clinics, I go to the adult hospital here, and it's Methodist, um, and I mainly see more adults come in than I've been seeing like of the younger people around my age.
If I may ask, are the majority of the patients that you see are African Americans?
Yes, yes,
About what?
mainly.
How? But the percentage? What would you say? About 90, 100?
I would say about 90% is African American, and then about I want to say 7% Caucasian, and then the rest of is Hispanic.
Hmm.
So this is what we've been trying to um, advocate and make people aware that this is not just happening in one city. This is happening across the nation in
Oh
urban
yes,
America.
yeah,
And let our viewers know about what you explained to us about the dialysis facilities, the growing numbers that are popping up in Memphis.
yeah. Because it's like here, you know how you have a Walgreens and a gas station right across each other on every corner. It seems like now it seems like the dialysis units are popping up like left and right. Like I want to say about 2 months ago, I just saw one built and it's already up and running. And
And I bet you it's full.
yes,
Mhm.
yes, and it's crazy on how they're just popping up, and I'm like, oh my god, why can't they just build a bigger place where they can host many people versus this small building where they can host only so little, which have to cause them to create multiples of them. But hey, that's how they do it. But it's sad to see them just pop up like a Walgreens on every corner.
Well, hey Tay, let me chime in for a second on that comment you just made about
Hmm.
make a big one and do that, because I actually worked in a facility that was almost 60 chairs down in North
Okay.
Carolina,
Oh.
Wow.
and that type of facility is, it almost is, it's like a, where I worked at, it was almost like a factory. People were coming and going because you had different sections,
Yeah.
and so many patients in there. And I don't think that that would, far as for the companies financially, I think it will be a drawback, because
Okay.
eventually they had to shut down some of these chairs, because if you have, people that transition or pass away and you
Uh-huh.
don't get and you got other clinics in the area that may be pulling patients. Then you talk about staff in the unit. It seems probably more beneficial for them to have smaller facilities where a lot of these facilities you just need a nurse to open up. Some places you can have up to so many dialysis patients before you have a second nurse.
Right. And I can,
So,
after you explain it like that, I can see what you mean by that, because there will definitely need a whole staff
yeah, but
for.
it's done, and there's facilities out there that there's still large facilities. There's several in Baltimore, like 30 chairs,
Oh.
and it's just so saddening that it affects our race. I mean, it affects everyone, but just our race happens to be the one that's most affected with the diabetes, with
Yeah.
the hypertension, with the kidney disease, with the stroke, with the heart disease. I mean, it's so many and so few education is that we have to get loud and we have to be out there and keep raising this awareness. And that just goes back to, I want to get your opinion on the question that I voiced to Tamika when we first opened up with the poll that I did on our page. Do you think that corporate dialysis facilities bear any social responsibility in promoting or providing community advertisement or promotion on diabetes, hypertension, and kidney disease? And what I mean by that, far as like a billboard or some type of advertisement, just saying that diabetes and hypertension are the two leading causes of kidney disease.
Of course. I mean, I think it's definitely important, but I think they do have a permission with that, because I mean that's their field. Now, of course, you want to get people's permission before you do advertising and all of that stuff. But I think with these organizations and these corporate organizations who, if that is their target audience, they should definitely use their audience to promote awareness and promote different things to educate their target audience, and to try to, of course, in the process, encourage them and to let them know what causes it and what and why it's happening, so it won't be so many people constantly going through it, because there's many misconceptions and many myths that are out there, and I'm sure you two know that's going crazy. They got people scared to donate, people refusing to go on dialysis, which everyone have their choice. But if it was up to me and I had to go back, I will, because I choose life more than anything. But it's like, if we could just put out messages on awareness, which we know is out there, but it's very small compared to cancer and how popular cancer is promoted. When it comes to kidney disease, it's like we like the stepchild, and it's like we don't get the promotion that it needs. Not saying that cancer is worse, but it's just the fact that each one has its own unique purpose, and everything should be shared, of course, accordingly.
Well, Tay, no, I mean, you're right what you said about cancer. However, cancer is not the ninth leading cause of death in the United States. Kidney disease is.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and so we had to still be aware that, even though we had these other diseases, that kidney disease fall among one of the top 10 causes of death in the United States. I mean, we're talking about more than people that have HIV, cancer, and kidney disease is a very unique disease in a sense to where someone goes you know, 3 times a week, and you bond with other people and the staff, and in some places, boundaries are crossed. I mean, it's so many dynamics that you could look at. And let me just put this out for instance. There's places, and Tamika, it may happen in in Philly, where you could be getting ready for the next group of people to come in the next shift, and somebody may come through the door when they're not, you know, when you're not ready for them, you know, to come through, or you're not ready. And when you do the flip side of that, when you go to a doctor's office, like a regular doctor's office,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people don't just walk through the door, you know, to go back there and ask the doctor what's going on.
When you do
You
the
know,
Right.
but
Well,
the whole base I'm just saying is just that it's so unique that you form so many type of different relationships that at
Mm-hmm.
some point some people get comfortable, and I think that's where sometimes the lack of care and everything else comes into play. What do you
let's
think,
see.
Mika?
On that, well, to touch on the kidney disease, why it's not really out there. For one, a lot of people, I can't say they're shameful, but it's a hidden disease. So they do it in their home, they
Mm-hmm.
hide their accesses and stuff like that. So though there's a lot of people that have it, no, they're not going to say hashtag kidney disease. They're not going to say hashtag love your kidneys because they're ashamed of what they have and they're hiding it. There's different people I talked to, and they was like, "Oh, well, I had kidney disease," and I'm looking, "What you did?" They was like, "Yeah, but I didn't say anything about it because I was doing it at home, because they were shameful for what they had."
Yeah. My mom
Um,
actually had hers at home. She was
yeah,
doing her treatment at
and
home.
because you could do a treatment at home, a lot of people don't even talk about that they have this disease.
Mm-hmm.
They just do their treatment at home and keep it moving versus being in a dialysis center and it's open. And then as far as education goes, the billboards and stuff, there's the only billboards that's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania are the DaVita ones, and they're encouraging people to come to their units, excuse me, because they have brand new chairs, heated chairs, um, vending machines, and ice. And they have a grand opening so you could come on and check their products out versus come in and get educated about how to prevent kidney disease. But why would they do that? Why would this big corporation want to prevent them from making money? They're not going to do that. They'll do a little bit, that's it, only for the moment. But that's not what it's a business. So that business is not going to raise awareness enough to put them out of business or to limit their income. They're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's sad though. That
And
is.
as
So
far
Tay, I just wanted to ask you, um, what has this experience now led you to do in the community, far as activism with kidney disease?
Well, that's I've been able to partner with, of course, the Mid South Transplant Foundation, and I work with different patients and doctors here at the Methodist Hospital, where,
Okay.
of course, I get to be a part of the support groups, and I get to sit at the big round table and on panels, and we'll talk about like we're doing now, and have the patients ask me questions because we'll have a panel of different recipients in their different years. So for each is always one for each of us: the heart, the liver, the lungs, the kidney. And we have the patients who are dealing with those type of transplants ask the questions, and each of us will chime in with experience or to give encouragement on what to expect and how to get through it. But I've been blessed to be able to share my story with those through the Mid South Transplant Foundation and the Methodist Hospital to do that part and to getting the word out there. Now, I've been using my platform as a motivational speaker to inspire, to inspire those who are having kidney transplants or going through dialysis, to share my story and my life with them, to show that even though I had kidney disease, it's not going to stop me from pursuing my dreams or stop me from being the person who I want to be. There is life after kidney transplant. So, and there is life during the process. So it's all about how you look at it and how how you view it. What do you want out of it? Are you just gonna sit here and mope in it, or are you just gonna take it by the horns and you're gonna ride this thing out? And for me, I was blessed to, like I said, to have my mom, because she told me that. And she did not let me get down about this. Like, we is not finna stress about this. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep going, and then when your day comes, that's what we're gonna deal with. But right now, we just gonna focus on one thing at a time, and we're gonna get through it. And that's what I try to push to the other patients and the people who I mentor through this process.
I think you should, excuse me, go around different places, try to get incorporated with other corporations to speak out there to the younger kids that's on dialysis, only because you've been there, you've been on two different sides.
Right.
And if they have your encouragement, your words, maybe it'll help them not be so depressed. It'll keep them
Right.
going. Because some of them may not have that support system
Yeah.
that you had. Sometimes their moms just may have gave in, or they have other children to worry about, so they can't put all the focus on this child. Once they drop them off to dialysis, they had dialysis. That's their problem, but it's really not, because they still need you in there.
Right. And I've actually come across two patients. One was Caucasian and the other one was Black, and they just get dropped off there. And I'm gonna try to say it without getting emotional, but they both have very similar stories when it comes to not having nobody to look up to and not knowing what to do or what's going to turn out. But with me during my process, I witnessed someone passing on a machine. And for me, that traumatized me. And at that point, I was like, oh my God, I could die on this thing. And it was like a light bulb effect for me. It was like, okay, we cannot be thinking negatively. We have to stay prayed up. We have to stay focused and try to plan out your life, what you want to do. And with them, it was like they told me how they look up to me and how they were inspired by my story, and to be able to have somebody to just talk to. And that's what I was saying earlier, to have somebody there. We don't necessarily need you to talk. We just want you to listen. That's it, because we're trying to figure this thing out in our heads. So to have somebody there to just listen is all that patient needs, and to be that listening ear or that shoulder to cry on for them was a lot for me. And I'm thankful to be able to be in that position. And I pray that I get more opportunities to, of course, I want to travel and speak to other patients and sit with other patients to do that. But it's definitely important to have somebody there, and to have somebody to, cheer you on through your journey and through your storm. Because with the nurses, I mean, they can only do so much, because you're not their only patient. And so they can listen to only so much. And I'm very grateful for the nurses I had, because I used to joke with everybody. But each of them have a special place in my heart, and I do write about them in my book, and share the different fun times we had and the many things that they've taught me, and just the whole experience as a whole. Because what I told these two young men is to enjoy the journey, even though it may be hard now. And that's with life, period. You have to enjoy the journey. Stop living for that destination. Because what you would get messed up in is, okay, you living towards this destination. Okay, kidney transplant is the dream. Boom. That's what I'm going for. Okay, when you get there, then what? So it's like
Like that.
you have to plan past that goal or
Right.
past that destination because life goes on. But one thing you don't want to miss the moment in your journey as you're going through
Mm.
because those little moments through your journey or through your storm is going
Mhm.
to make you who you are later on. Because if I wouldn't have went through the many things I did, like I said before, I wouldn't be able to be here sharing my story and to be able to be relatable to others because it's real. It's scary, it's hard, it's life changing, but I promise you it's worth it because all of that was meant to happen for me to be right here today.
Absolutely. Hey Tay, do you have a minute to share your book? Do you have a copy, or
I
is it
don't have a copy on. It's not done yet. I'm in finishing up the first draft. So early 2019 is
can,
coming.
can you share the title or anything?
The
Or
title of it is it says Artavius Veasey Becoming a Living Testimony. So I take you through the journey of my life from birth, before kidney disease even happened. So I give you like a little description on what was my life before kidney disease and taking you when I got the call that I got to go on dialysis, taking you through the storm of the whole first time getting in the hospital to get your line for the first day of dialysis and taking you through that process. And of course, after the storm, once I got the transplant and life after transplant, to kind of put everything together to share the process of
Right.
how kidney disease blessed my life, not hindered my life.
wow.
Wow. I
Very powerful.
like how you think it.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Keep us updated with the book. We'd
I
love to
will.
share inserts and get you some sales on that book because
Thank
it's really
you. I will. I try to keep my supporters updated. I think I'm at chapter 9. It's 12 chapters in all, so I'm at 9 now. So we get there.
Are you on Facebook?
Yes, of course. You can find me at, like you see, Tay Veasey on here is my personal one, or my public figure one, Artavius Veasey.
Yeah, I want to send you a friend request.
Of course. Definitely keep you in the loop.
yes, yes. So thank you so much for joining us. Is there anyone that have any questions for Artavius? So we're gonna stay for a little bit to see if you have any questions and then you'll answer them. But very, very inspirational.
Thank
Very,
you.
very inspirational. And
So, Tay,
motivating.
I have a question.
Okay.
Um, did you know of anything how you could have prevent kidney disease as a child? Like when you got that call at 13, could they have prevented that from happening or slowed the progression if you had gotten education from the nephrologist, or was any education given to you during your childhood?
Well, Steve, real quick, what he has is acute, so it just bam comes out of nowhere.
Right.
So it
It
was
was
nothing
hereditary
that
for
they
me.
could
So I was
do.
born with it.
Right. It's
So
nothing
mine
they
didn't
could
happen
do.
later on in life.
No, I know,
Mhm.
but I'm just wondering, was any, like when you was a kid, like 8, 9, 10, was you spilling protein in your urine? Like, did you have indications that was leading up to that?
See, with me, not that I can remember. The only thing, and it's literally like the only thing I can remember, I think it was probably around 11 or like late 11, early 12 years old when I witnessed blood in my urine. And it freaked me out. And when I tell you I hollered, because I didn't know what was going on, I hollered at my mama, like, what is this? And it was, I mean, just imagine that.
Yeah.
But it's like I didn't know what was going on, and that's when she already was educated about it, so she knew what was going on. And of course, we went to the doctor, and of course, all of that, those visits led up to me having to get on dialysis.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So they didn't give you any medicine as a child. once you
Not
found
that I
that
can
blood
remember.
in the urine, like once you um, discovered the blood in the urine, then you started going to the nephrologist.
Mhm.
They didn't educate you from that point, like watch what
Yeah.
you feed your son and blood pressure medicine to kind of prevent the leakage of protein in your urine and stuff like that.
See, not that descriptive. Because mainly they talked to my mom because she was more, of course, steady minded for
Yeah,
that.
no,
I'm just
I understand.
freaking out because it's blood in my urine. I don't know what this is about.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
would say the only thing that I've gotten after that was my mom told me, okay, you got to take these pills, and that's all you need to worry about.
Wow,
Yeah,
So
wow,
so I think at this time I was on Prograf and self. So that's all I was on before dialysis, and then once I got on, of course, I was still on it, and then they added more. Um,
wow.
I know for me, for my son, with the protein spilling out his kidneys into his bloodstream,
mhm.
um, we had. Well, I said we as I was taking it, but I was
I
in there.
thought you were.
So excuse me if y'all see some tears fall, because still worried about them. We had to take prednisone, and then I had to monitor his urine output, and I had to change the way we cooked. So basically, stop cooking with salt or use under 1 milligram of salt or whatever. But
Mhm.
that right there is like a half a teaspoon of salt. So I just learned to cook with like spices and herbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
And I mean, even after you saying that, thinking back, I mean, my mom, she's always like baked a lot of stuff. She really didn't do a lot of like seasoned
yeah,
stuff because I mean, with her being a transplanted patient, and that's just how she cooked. For me, it was like that's what I grew up eating like. So it wasn't nothing like a big change for me because that's what I was used to. And I understand for other people who develop kidney disease later, who maybe isn't eating so healthy and have to kind of change their whole diet to be restricting on the diet that they put us on while on dialysis, that could be a problem. But for me, like I said, I was one of the lucky ones who was already in that process of knowing what was going on from my mom, and she just automatically just cooking what is appropriate for me. So I mean, I was young, so I didn't have to do all this stuff.
yeah.
So
I have one more question.
okay,
Are there food deserts in Memphis?
are there food who?
Food deserts. And what food deserts are is communities that have that lack access to fresh fruits and vegetables, where the grocery store is more than a mile away from the community, and more than 20% of that population is below federal poverty. So basically, in the hood, are there a
Mhm.
lot of convenience stores and liquor stores and check cashing places
Of
in
course,
communities where there lack supermarkets in Memphis?
of course. I mean, just like the Walgreens on every corner, it's a liquor store here, liquor store there. But there, I would say, to be fair, it's not too far. I mean, from where I'm at, it's like the convenience store is literally like around the corner. But it's quite a decent amount of convenience stores. But as far as like a Whole Foods or like a fresh place, if you're not getting it from your local Kroger or Walmart, it ain't too many of them.
It was a food desert also.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
those Whole Foods and um those type of places, you find those in like the high price areas, like the midtowns, the downtowns, the out east, where they claim to be more Caucasian people stay, where clearly everybody stay there, but that's what they call it. Um, this in those areas mainly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you for that insight. This is just something Steve and we've been working on just to is It's real out there.
Yeah, just to say how real this is, and
Yeah.
the amount of people that's it's affecting.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why we started this hashtag Kidney Disease Urban America Silent Killer Tour, because here in Baltimore, back in May, 360,000 FEMA food boxes were distributed in Baltimore, Maryland,
Right.
in a particular neighborhood. And in these boxes were items like Spam, some sausage with 630 milligrams of sodium,
What?
a lot of items high in carbohydrates, sugar,
Mhm.
Yeah.
saturated fats, uh, sugar,
Mm.
and sodium. And so that's over 17 million items that's been distributed. So if it can
Right.
happen here, it can
Oh, I
happen.
mean, they have those programs here where you see those who, which is mainly in the African American community, the low poverty ones, where they get these vouchers to get these baskets or get these boxes. And of course, they have all of this unhealthy stuff, but it's free food. So, of course, if they're not educated on it, and as we know, eating healthy is expensive,
But there's
but
some alternatives to that as well.
exactly. But a lot of people don't know that. So it all goes back to educating yourself.
Yep.
So I mean, if you want to be real about it, just educate yourself and know what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. Now,
Mhm.
I mean, it's when it comes to eating, you can eat anything. It's just how you proportion yourself in eating it. So
Mhm.
it's just if you know you're gonna have some sugar or you're gonna have some salt, don't have a whole bunch of it. Instead of eating like a whole piece or eat a slice, it's okay. Save it. Give it to somebody else. But it's all in the proportions and how you eat.
I hear you.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Tavy, thank you for being my guest. This is
thank
an
you
awesome
guys so
But how
much.
episode.
can people reach you if they need to, if they want to talk to you?
You can reach me on my email, artaviusvz@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, artaviusvz.com, or follow me on Facebook or any social media at artaviusvz, and you will find me there, and we can chat if you want to chat about kidneys or whatever, we can chat. I'm always open to inspiring and share my story. But before I go, I would definitely like to congratulate you two on this amazing platform that you guys are building. I wish you guys the best. I would definitely share it with my people. Thank you for having me, and thank everyone for viewing. I really, really appreciate it. Hopefully, it reached at least one of y'all. But yes, keep doing what y'all doing. This is amazing, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Appreciate
thank you.
it, man.
You're welcome.
Definitely appreciate it, man. And we look forward to keeping in touch with you, man,
Of
and
course.
building bridges to make kidney disease as loud as it can be, man. Because this
Exactly.
this is a treacherous, disease, man, and definitely we need to keep the fight going, man.
Exactly. If you can just inspire one person at a time, you'll get there.
Yes. Yes. Thank you guys. Have an amazing life.
Thank you.
All
You
right, good night.
too.
Nice talking with you, Tay. Take
All
care.
right. Take
All
care.
right, see you, Tamika.
See y'all
All
next
right.
Thursday. Bye
All
bye.
All
right.
right.
Bye.